G'day guys, my name's Nick and welcome to my channel Low Range Nick, where I do videos about four-wheel driving, accessory fitting and maintenance for your four-wheel drive vehicle. So in today's video I'm going to give you a full walkthrough of my 2023 Suzuki Jimny. Alright guys, so before we get stuck into the walkthrough, this is the 2023 Suzuki Jimny GLX model. So there is a light model which doesn't include some of these top of the range features, which I'll go through in this vehicle today. So starting at the front of the vehicle, we have a LED parker, low beam and high beam built into the headlight. We also have fog lights down here in the bumper, which are just the halogen style bulbs, so they give off the yellow style of light, and the daytime running lights is actually down here in the bumper as well. So you have a plastic grille with the Suzuki badge and a plastic bumper. You also have some headlight washers down here which spray onto the headlights to give them a bit of a clean. There is a button in the vehicle which I'll show you a little bit later that you can press to use the headlight washers. So now moving on to the side of the vehicle, we have some black plastic fender flares which flow onto the plastic sill protection and then onto the rear of the vehicle to the rear fender flares as well. We also have some alloy rims, so they're 15-inch alloy rims fitted with the tyre size 195/80/15. And now moving to the rear of the vehicle, we have a full-size spare tyre mounted to the rear door. We have a black plastic bumper bar and also our reverse camera, which is mounted just underneath the tyre here. Now let's jump into the interior of the vehicle and have a bit of a look. So while I'm sitting in the front seat, let's have a bit of a look at the adjustment. So you can adjust the seat forward and back by using the handle on the front of the seat, and you do have a good range of movement. So if you are a taller or shorter driver, you can definitely be accommodated in this vehicle. You do also have the backrest adjustment on the side here, so you can adjust the backrest forward and back, and you can even lie all the way down. So it's pretty good to be able to have that bit of adjustment. The only adjustment that the seat doesn't have is the height adjustment up or down. So the visibility is pretty good where the seat is sitting, and the headroom above your head is pretty good as well. So it doesn't necessarily need to be able to be moved, but that is one thing that it's missing. So now we've had a good look at the seats, let's move on to the dashboard. On the right hand side of the dashboard we have our electronic mirror adjustment buttons and folding. We also have our headlight washer button, and we have two buttons here to turn off some of the safety features in the Suzuki Jimny. So this button turns off the lane departure warning, and this button turns off our autonomous emergency braking. The steering wheel in the Suzuki Jimny is a really nice leather wrapped steering wheel, has a really nice feel to it. And it also has the nice Suzuki emblem in the middle there, and we have some controls on the steering wheel as well. So over this side we have our volume controls for our head unit. We can also mute the volume and go through our information. On the right hand side of the steering wheel we have our cruise control buttons, so we have our cruise control turning the system on and off, and we have our set and reset buttons, cancel and our limit button. Underneath the steering wheel on this side we have some buttons for answering calls, hanging up calls, and also carrying out some Bluetooth functionality. On our right hand stalk we have our indicators, our fog lights, auto headlights, parkers and low beam. To get our high beam we just flick the stalk in and out. And on the left hand stalk we have our rear wiper controls and washer, and we also have our main front wiper controls on the actual main stalk here. Now moving on to the instrument panel display. On the right hand side here you have your speed display, on the left you have your RPM display, and in the center here you can see your fuel in the tank, you have your trip and some average fuel economy data. So you can scroll through it by pressing the info button on the steering wheel. You can get a couple of different sort of technical readouts, so you can get your instant fuel economy, average fuel economy, range, your average speed, your driving time, and a few other settings. Now moving into the center of the dashboard we have our window switches on either side, and the driver's window is an automatic up and down, and we also have our hill descent control button here and traction control button on this side. The Suzuki Jimny also has a 12-volt socket down here, which is perfect for charging or running accessories. You do also have a USB socket over the right hand side which connects to the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And now moving on to the climate control system. On the left hand side we have our fan control and our front and rear demisters. We have our mode for sending the air to wherever we like, whether it's to your feet or your face or to the windscreen. We also have our buttons down here to divert the air from fresh to recirculating, and you can also turn your air conditioning on and off using this button, or turn the system off completely using the button over here. On the right hand side we have the ability to change the temperature to our desired temp, and we can also set it to automatic, which will adjust the fan speed and the temperature to reach your desired temp. And now moving up the dashboard, we have our 2 central air vents, which can be adjusted either side to side or up and down. And we also have our hazard light switch. In the center here, we have the 9-inch display, and this is our 9-inch infotainment system. So this has been upgraded in the 2023 model. In the previous models, I believe it was a 7-inch screen. So you do also view your reverse camera through the screen here. So I'll just pop it into reverse for you now, guys, and you can see what it looks like. So now you can see the reverse camera on the big screen. Now it is a really nice big screen, and it's really easy to see everything behind you, and you also do get some guide markers on there as well. Now moving on to the passenger side, they do have a handrail here which they can hold on to when you're going off-road, or if you're going really quick round corners. You do have a little storage tray here, and also your glove box. So as well as your 2 central air vents, you do also have 2 outer air vents on either side of the dash. And now let's talk about storage space. So this little compartment down here I've found to be pretty good for storing your sunglasses, so they seem to fit in there pretty nicely. On both of the front door cards you do have a small storage compartment, which is good for storing some smaller, thinner items. And now moving down onto the tunnel of the vehicle, we have a gear stick here for our 5-speed manual gearbox. So in my vehicle I have a 5-speed manual, but you can also get a 4-speed automatic. Now moving further back, we have our transfer selector here, so you can go between 2 high, 4 high or 4 low. Now in the central storage between the 2 front seats, we have the handbrake. We also have a small storage compartment here, which I've found to be pretty good for holding your mobile phone, and you have 2 drink holders. Now let's open up the back and have a bit of a look. Moving into the rear of the Suzuki Jimny, we do have this little storage compartment. So it does have a bit of storage space in here, which you can put a couple of things. Now this compartment can be completely removed, and underneath there is your tyre jack and your tyre iron. We do also have our rear anchor points for our child seats, if you do have child seats fitted to the back seats. Now these seats do have ISOFIX as well in the seats, and then you just need to put your top tether point to these points here. Now the rear seats of the Suzuki Jimny are actually a really good design. So if you remove the headrests, like so, you can actually fold these seats completely flat. So it does give you a heap of extra space if you fold these seats flat. So we can put them all the way down. And you can see now that we've made a lot more space in the back here, and it's going to give us a lot more storage space if we're going on trips. So another really cool design of the Suzuki Jimny is the fact that the front seats actually fold completely flat. So what you can do is you can actually sleep in the Suzuki Jimny. So I'll show you guys exactly how these front seats fold down, and it sort of converts into a bed. So all I need to do is just take my headrest off. And then what we can do is slide the seat all the way forward, and then put this backrest all the way back. And then what you can see here is you have a pretty flat surface, which if you put a mattress across, you could actually sleep in the Suzuki Jimny. And here on the rear left panel, you do also have another accessory socket for running appliances. So now I'm sitting in the back seats of the Suzuki Jimny. You do actually have a really good seating position back here and really good visibility. So you've got some really nice big windows here, so you get great visibility all around the vehicle, and the seats are pretty comfy, and there's also quite a bit of headroom as well, so it's quite comfortable back here. And because it is a 4-seater, you do get that little bit of extra space in the back that you normally wouldn't get with a 5-seater. So you will notice on the seats you have ISOFIX points down here, and you also secure your top tether points over to the back there, which I showed you earlier. So you can put 2 baby seats in the back of the Jimny, and that's no worries at all. So there is actually a decent amount of leg and knee room, so even with this seat most of the way back, I still have enough room here to be comfortable on a medium to long journey. Down on the floor in the driver's footwell, we have the fuel release. And underneath the dashboard on the driver's side, we have our OBD2 connection and our bonnet release. Located in the front of the roof, we have our rear vision mirror. We also have our map light, which can be set off door, or on. We also have some little speakers here for our Bluetooth audio. And up the front here we have our sun visors, which both of the front sun visors have mirrors built in, but no lights. You do also have another light in the rear of the vehicle for lighting up the luggage compartment or the rear seats. The Suzuki Jimny has 2 speakers fitted from standard in the front doors. So now let's pop the bonnet and have a look under the hood. In the engine bay of the Jimny we have a 1.5 litre petrol engine which puts out 75 kilowatts and 130 newton meters. So in the engine bay we have our airbox here with the air filter, we have our battery, brake fluid reservoir, dipstick, our oil fill point. We also have our radiator and overflow bottle, and over the far side we have our washer bottle. In the windscreen here you have the cameras for the automatic high beam, lane keep assist, and also the autonomous emergency braking. So now I've shown you guys the exterior and the interior of the Suzuki Jimny. Let's jump underneath and see what really makes the Suzuki Jimny so damn special. So now I've got the little Jimny flexed up. What you can see here is that the Jimny actually runs a ladder frame chassis with live axle coil sprung suspension. So this is one of the last vehicles left coming from the factory that actually runs live axles with coil springs. So this means that it's going to be really good off-road. So as well as having front and rear live axles on coil springs, it does also have a good traction control system. So Suzuki call the system all grip, and what that basically means is that the traction control system can work as a brake lock differential. So what that means is spinning wheels will be braked by the ABS system and traction will be maintained through both wheels. Now, as I said before, the rear axle of the Suzuki Jimny is also a live axle on coil springs, and you can see here the shock absorber and the panhard rod. Looking underneath the Jimny, everything looks like it's tucked up nice and high, and it does have a decent amount of clearance for a stock vehicle. So there you go guys, now I've given you a full walkthrough of my 2023 Suzuki Jimny. I'm super excited to share this build series with you guys. So if you are keen to see the build up of the Suzuki Jimny get built into a tough touring and off-road vehicle, then please give my channel a subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and stay tuned for more four-wheel driving, accessory fitting and maintenance videos. Cheers guys.